and thank you so much for tuning in to News Channel 9 tonight. I'm Christy Calcagno. Now, we are experiencing some technical difficulties tonight here on News Channel 9, but not to worry. We are here to bring you the latest news and weather of the day. And speaking of weather, let's take a live look right now here over the Doubletree Hotel from our Storm Cam 9 cam. Definitely feels like fall out there.
Good afternoon. I'm Fiona Dager. Thank you for joining us. We are experiencing some technical difficulties, so our newscast may look a bit different today, but thank you for bearing with us. Let's start right away with our weather forecast. Aaron Perlman, it is a big weather day here in Kern County. Will we be seeing any more rain in the next few days?
Well, I'm glad you brought that question up, Fiona, because that's why there's umbrellas here. There's still going to be some rainfall and maybe even some snowfall for some of our mountain areas. Let's talk a little bit about how much we have seen. I think that's the biggest question because what you all need to know is this, and look at this. This is important. There has been 174 days since we have last seen measurable rainfall. That ends today. We have now seen, as of this morning, 0.03 of an inch. It's not a whole lot, but it's something. Now, what that does, last time we saw rainfall, you have to go back to April, look at this, April 26th. And we had on that day 0.06 of an inch, not a whole lot. So what this does now, it brings our total to 206 inches of rainfall, but typically this time of year, we should be running in at 4 56 of an inch of rainfall. So this number is not that good, but this is what we got today. Now, here's what I'm going to put out there for us. And if you're looking at Kern County, there's the state. The state did get some rainfall, and a lot of it in our mountain communities. And I'll leave you with this before I send it back over to Fiona. For the rest of the day, for areas of Bakersfield, I'm still going to put out a 50% chance for some rainfall in areas of Bakersfield, as well as spots down over the Grapevine, a 100% chance for showers. How much? We're going to look at that coming up in just a few more minutes. Fiona?
Aaron, thank you for that update. Switching now to some somber news out of Capitol Hill. This morning we learned Colin Powell, who served as America's top soldier and later a top diplomat, has died. Powell's family says he died from COVID-19 complications, and CNN's Wolf Blitzer looks back at the retired general's journey and his impact.
Well, good evening and welcome to Channel 7 News at 6. We thank you for joining us. You may have noticed over the last 24 hours that things are a bit different with our newscasts and with our programming here on Channel 7. That is because our station and our parent company, the Sinclair Broadcast Group, were targets of a weekend cyber attack. This attack has impacted many of our network systems across the country, and it is disrupting many of our normal operations. Our team here in Little Rock, along with our corporate partners, are working to restore normal operations to our broadcast as quickly as possible. Despite all of these significant technical challenges, we will continue our commitment to cover local and national news. We will have all of our newscasts at their regular times, and we thank you for your support and your patience while we work through these issues. But the news does continue in Arkansas, and tonight we begin in the city of Pine Bluff, where two separate shootings over the weekend have left at least 2 people dead.
Trick-or-treating in the pandemic. Tonight on Iowa's News Now, the things to keep in mind ahead of Halloween gatherings and celebrations this year. And welcome to Iowa's News Now at 6 this Monday night. We want to start with an update about the goings-on here at Broadcast Park. You may have noticed if you tuned in last night or at 5, we're dealing with some major system issues here at Broadcast Park, and it's keeping us from accessing a lot of content and keeping the newscast from looking the way you're used to newscasts looking. So we are doing our best with the tools that we have at our disposal tonight. We've got engineers and technicians behind the scenes that have been working more than 24 hours straight now trying to fix everything. So we'll continue to hopefully keep working through everything for you. So thanks in advance for your patience as we work through everything and read off paper scripts and all that stuff. Thankfully, the Weather First team is still doing what they're able to do best. So meteorologist Nick Stewart here with a forecast that is a pretty good one. So we've got that going for us, Nick.
Yeah, that's the one thing we got going for us right now. We'll take the calm weather while we work with all the issues behind the
Mourning the loss of a respected military leader turned diplomat as former General and Secretary of State Colin Powell has died. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Diana Castillo.
And I'm Larry Wentz. And you may notice this newscast looks a little bit different than our usual shows, and here is why. We're having some technical difficulty. Now, that technical difficulty, Sinclair Broadcast says, recently identified a cybersecurity incident that is involving our network here at the station. We are investigating the incident, working to restore operations quickly and securely. We do appreciate your patience and understanding as we try and work through this incident.
Yeah, things will look a little different, but we'll get you there. Now back to our top story. Former Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Colin Powell, has died.
Larry, the 85-year-old died of complications.
Good evening. Happy Monday. I'm Mike Mangus. It has been not a particularly happy but a challenging Monday for us. The news tonight will look different. Our corporate owner, Sinclair Broadcasting, has been hit by ransomware demands, so we don't have access to a lot of our usual resources. We thank you for your understanding and be assured we're working to get back to our normal operations as quickly as possible. I'm Mike Mangus.
And I'm Tamara DeMonte. Thank you so much for your patience and for being with us tonight. Right now, let's take a live look outside. This is a live look over Reading. We've had a lot of cloud cover, some rain. It's really been a very nice fall day out there, just very fall-like. Gotta love the rain. We need it. And we're expecting some more, actually. So let's go ahead and check in with First Alert meteorologist Darren Leeds in the Weather Center. He's tracking the latest conditions for us. Darren, how are we doing on this Monday?
Looking pretty good, actually. Temperatures feeling like fall out there, maybe even a little more winter-like. We got 40s around Mount Shasta, Bernie, Shingletown, right around 40 degrees right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for 13 WHAM News at 10 on Fox Rochester. I'm Dan Schrack. As you can tell, we are experiencing some technical difficulties, but we still wanted to bring you the news, so here we are. And we begin with breaking news this Sunday. One person is dead, another is fighting for their life. This after a bad car crash in Rochester. And as 13 WHAM's Natalie Kutchko tells us, 4 people are in custody at this hour. Natalie?
Yeah, Dan, we've been following this today. While it's still early in the investigation, Rochester police say the stolen vehicle was located near Jefferson Avenue and ultimately collided with another vehicle less than half a mile away.
Good evening, everyone. We are having some technical issues here, but we're working very hard to bring you a newscast. So thank you in advance for bearing with us. I'm Kim Jackson.
Yeah, and I'm TJ Ecker. We're working very hard on this, trust me. A new neighborhood infill overlay has some Tulsa residents worried their area will lose its charm. News Channel 8's James King is live now.
James, what's the purpose for the overlay?
Well, Kim, the Tulsa Planning Office conducted a study last year looking into housing options in and around downtown. Now, with their findings, they're hoping to add more.
Notice things are a bit different here at KTVL. We are experiencing some technical difficulties with our newscasts and some of our programming, and we appreciate your patience as we work to resolve some of those issues.
Yes, and we're going to move forward with the news of today. Today marked the official deadline for thousands of Oregon workers in key industries like healthcare, education, and law enforcement to agree to get vaccinated or risk losing their jobs. The conversation over vaccine mandates, as we all know, sparking intense debate here in the state and across.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KVAL News. I'm Jacqueline Fernandez. Now before we get started tonight, we are experiencing some technical difficulties today. We will continue to bring you the news and weather this evening as best we can. Moving now to our top story at 5 o'clock. One person is dead after a shooting this morning on Donald Street in Fox.
This is K2 News at 4 on your side.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us for K2 News at 4. I'm Lincoln Graves. You may have noticed things are a little bit different with our newscasts and our programming here today on K2. That is because our station and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, were the targets of a weekend cyber attack. The attack has impacted many of our network systems across the country and is disrupting some of our normal programming and some of our normal operations as well. Our team here in Portland, along with our corporate staff, are working to restore normal operations as quickly as possible. Now, despite these significant technical challenges, we will continue our commitment to coverage of local and national news. We will have newscasts at regularly scheduled times. We thank you for your support and patience while we address this issue. Moving on to our top story today at 4, teachers, healthcare workers, and state employees in both Oregon and Washington must be fully vaccinated or risk losing their jobs. We're hearing from many of these groups today saying compliance is high, but still thousands.
Good evening, everyone. I am Scott Stovall. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You may have noticed things are a little bit different with our newscasts and some of our programming here at KEPR, and that's because our station and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, were targets of a weekend cyber attack. The attack has impacted many of our network systems across the country. It is also disrupting some of our normal operations. And our team here in the Tri-Cities, along with our corporate staff, are working to restore normal operations as quickly as possible. Now, despite these significant technical challenges, we will continue our commitment to coverage of local and national news, and we will have a newscast at our regularly scheduled times. And thank you so much for your support and patience while we address these major issues. And our top story tonight is a continuation of a major story we've been following.